ultimate central points on the grid, and how do you optimize those investments when everybody in the sector is keen to be doing work in this area. So it is trying to create a strategic approach which delivers what we need to do, which doesn't compromise on our energy security, which doesn't compromise on our low carbon ambitions, but does that without creating a huge amount of wasted investment.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Excellent.
Thanks, Charles. The next question then is, what do you think are the biggest challenges facing the transmission industry regarding this price control framework?
I think it probably is how do you manage the uncertainty which we've got. We broadly know where of the large-scale projects are going to be happening in the course of the Rio T2 timescale. So it's less on that size, but I think there's a significant uncertainty about what technology is going to be able to do and how that's going to be changing the way in which we look at it. Again, I come back to the issue of storage on this. That the storage is in its infancy at this stage, but it's growing exponentially. We have every university in the country, and probably virtually every university in the world, working on its improved battery storage technology. So that the amount of time being put into this by the people who have the best brains in this and the best understanding of it is quite exceptional. Yeah. We've also got multi-billion-pound investment programs being put in to drive it forward, so that we are going to see storage playing a very significant role within quite a few years, not in the course of decades, but a few years. And how you manage that unprecedented level of technological change is one of the most, I think, challenging issues for the industry as a whole.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so moving on to, we had some questions around the user group in general. So I think the first one was sort of prior to chairing the user group, I guess you had limited involvement with SP Energy Networks and our work. We were just keen to understand what were your sort of first impressions of the company and how we're approaching building the Rio T2 business plan.
Yes, certainly most of my engagement with the past had been with the power generation side of Scottish Power, and so that whilst I was familiar and had had some contact with the energy network side, that the engagement which I've now had has been of a different sort of level of participation. I found it as a team which is dedicated and committed to what it needs to do, and people who want to get it right, who I don't feel are trying to go through a bidding process with Ofgem. Their idea is that they want to actually get it to the right position first time round, which I think is a credit. I think perhaps to some extent that comes from the responsibility of running something as serious and significant as a transmission system. By definition, you should take a relatively cautious approach to doing that. You want to make sure that you've looked at all of the issues and challenges and that you've been as sort of comprehensive as you can be in making sure that that system is robust, and that approach then carries through, I think, into a wider business ethics. So from what I've seen so far, that the company is going about this in a very serious way, a very structured and strategic way, and that makes it quite straightforward for us as a user group to engage with it.
Brilliant. It's lovely to hear. I will pass that on to the team.
Yeah. But that's just my first impressions. It could all change, you know.
No, we should ask this at the end of the process and ask what's your lasting impressions.
Absolutely. Has it improved or has it got worse?
Hopefully the first.
Yeah.
So the next question, Charles, is more about from your own personal perspective. So really looking at understanding what your motivation for accepting the role was. So why you decided to be the chair of the transmission user group, and how does it feel to be overseeing our future investment plans, given your many years of experience in the industry?
It's one of the most significant areas of the energy sector over the next few years. It's not high profile. The grid is something which people just expect to work, and that therefore being part of the process which delivers the necessary investment, which takes account of all of the other uncertainties and the challenges which are there, and doing it in a way that really benefits consumers, I think is one of the more interesting